Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. Again, Eric here talking about sales, the right way to do it. So, sorry. In today's short video blog, what I want to discuss is a sales meeting. Yes, we're finally into the sales meeting, what it should look like, what should you do physically, practically in a sales meeting. So, if you're looking at a sales meeting that's done correctly, and it does not really matter what you're selling, it should be comprised of three distinct parts. There should be a warm-up, there should be a presentation, there should be a closing. What's the most important part? So I've asked this many people, and guess what? People who are not salespeople will tell me it's the presentation. It's what you're selling. Unfortunately, that's not true. But here's the fun part. When you talk to salespeople, and I've done that, a lot of times you'll hear it's the closing. Hey, I'm a shark closer. I know all the techniques. I close everything, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you're familiar. Guess what? That's also not true. The important part, the most important part of a sales meeting is the warm-up. I encourage you, if you haven't, look again at my previous video discussing making the client like you. The most important part is the warm-up, where you make the client like you. And guess what? If you make the client like you, it doesn't really matter what you're selling. And guess what? If you make the client like you, it's going to be pretty easy to close. You don't need to sell. You don't need to push. The client will be the one buying. And that's the goal of a well-performed sales meeting. So let's dive into that. Warm-up. Two distinct phases to the warm-up. One, personal warm-up. Two, professional warm-up. In today's video blog, I'm going to talk only about the first part, personal warm-up. The goal is make the client like you, make the client talk to you, preferably about his own self. A lot of people will tell you that what you need to do is find the common grounds. I need to find where the client and I connect, what we have in common. Again, that's a problem. It's not always right. I don't want to say it's completely wrong. Obviously, if I like to collect stamps and the client likes to collect stamps, guess what? Perfect. Let's talk about a stamp collection. However, when I walk into a sales meeting, I do not know who I'm going to be faced with. I do not know what his habits are. I do not know if I'm going to have common grounds. Guess what? It doesn't really matter. So if I go to a sales meeting and I see, and I've done this many times in the United States, and I'll see a lot of golf trophies. I'll see a golf bat. I'll see baseball. A lot of Americans are into baseball. And guess what? I do not understand baseball, and I've never played golf. However, that does not really matter. That's the point. I do not need to understand what the client likes. If the client likes baseball, my job is to make the client talk about baseball. If he likes golf, my job is to make the client talk about golf. How? It's very simple. I walk in. I do this. I look around me. I look for hints about the client. The client's office would have some indication about what the client likes. As I said, I'll see golf trophies and I'll say, oh, you like golf. You know, I never understood this game. What's the attraction? And you know what's going to happen? The client's going to start talking. Because the client likes golf. And he can spend hours walking the fields playing golf. No disrespect, that's what he likes. He's gonna tell me about it. The more he tells me about golf, the more he likes me. If I see, as I said, I don't know, NASCAR. Doesn't appeal to me, NASCAR. Not saying anything wrong with it, but for me, Eric, I don't like NASCAR. The client likes NASCAR. I'll ask, what is the attraction? I see a poster. I'll ask about the poster. I'll see the kids. A lot of people have pictures of their families. Oh, wow. I have 2 kids. How old are yours? The important part of the personal warm-up is to make the client like me by talking about himself. Last thing about the warm-up, the personal warm-up. Sometimes I'll walk into a room, there'll be 5 people. Guess what? Warm-up is out of the question. Sometimes I'll walk into a room and the client would be short, brief, and to the point. Greets me, shakes my hand, and say, thank you so much, Eric, for coming. I'm really interested in what you have to say. Please have a seat. Tell me what you have for me. Guess what? If I start asking about his kids, I might be thrown out of the office. What do? I go straight into the professional warm-up, which we're going to discuss in my next video blog that's going to come out shortly. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, if you feel it contributes something to you, please like it, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.